The college basketball experience, Michigan Wolverines 2022-23 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Networks presented by WynnBET. WynnBET's now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBET is what you need to win. Sign up today, bet $100, and get a $100 free bet at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today.
What's up, everybody? This is Cameron Krog from Loyola Chicago Ramblers, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride. Shout out to the Broad Stop. Thank you, guys.
Yes. Woo-wee. Welcome to the college basketball experience, Michigan Wolverines 2022-23 season preview. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, well, that's a good question. I'm joking. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dad, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I smoke and I drink and I don't have stress and I'm healthy.
I smoke and I drink and I might just slap another coach in the face. Oh, I love talking Michigan hoops. I go back to the days. I remember fucking Romeo Robinson back in the day. Glenn Rice, he fucked Sarah Palin at the Great Alaskan Shootout. That's a great story you might not know about. I am joined by, this guy. You're gonna see him. He's behind the scenes on the college football experience, the college basketball experience. He's the host of the college baseball experience. You're going to be hearing him a lot on this show, the college basketball experience, and some other stuff. He's working with the MLB Gambling Podcast. Give it up for my guy, Michigan fan, so I knew I had to get this guy on. So give it up for my guy, Noah Bieniek. How you doing, Noah?
What's good, Colby? You're talking about some pre-Noah stuff, but thank you for having me on. I'm very excited to discuss this team. College basketball in Michigan is the biggest thing going right now. Michigan State, they had a flash in the pan CFP appearance. Maybe Michigan's football team's coming around the corner, but, the Lions, the Red Wings, the Tigers, the Pistons, they all suck. We haven't had a playoff pro sports team since 2016. The consistency that Tom Izzo provides with Michigan State, the foundation that John Beilein gave Juwan Howard to build upon, has really kept sports fans in my area alive. Dude, I fucking love this team, and I can't wait to dive in deeper with you over the next 40 minutes or so. And yes, big Michigan fan myself. I have the number 1 ranked Michigan hockey team on the TV beside me. They're playing number 13 Penn State. And I think this is a perfect pod to flutter the idea. A lot of Michigan hockey fans out there, there isn't a college hockey experience. I'm just saying.
Hey. If I knew a damn thing about hockey, but maybe we can figure something out at some point because, we got love. We got love for all the sports out there.
We do.
All right. I played hockey 2 times as a kid.
Okay. That's a story I didn't know.
Well, street hockey on pavement.
All right. I was a ice hockey player for about 13 years, my glory days.
Oh, there you go. Well, but this is the way my career went. All right. We were just always playing sports 5 days a week, 6 days a week. Actually, 7 days a week.
Just in the front or the backyard,
Everywhere. I lived right next to a school, so we would go play basketball. Perfect. It was an easy walk. We had a little football field that we called Soldier Field and a big football field that we called Lambeau Field.
Awesome.
And we would play pretty much every single day at those locations. But we'd also, summertime, we'd start watching baseball. We'd play some baseball. Never a ton of baseball, mostly dominated by football and basketball, but decent amount of baseball. But then we're like, hey, we should try hockey. We play NHL 94 all the time for Sega Genesis. And we tried street hockey. I only played in 2 games because I took a missed slap shot to the nuts. Like someone missed a snapshot and it hit me in the nuts, and I resigned.
Dude, I've been there. I played goalie.
I resigned. My career ended right then. So then I thought about a different sports. I was like, this sport sucks. Makes no sense.
Dude.
But look, I got love for the hockey guys out there, right? Maybe they didn't get hit in the nuts. All right.
Yeah, my front yard was the baseball field, so like there's a bare spot still from 10 years ago that my dad's still pissed about with me and my friends.
Yeah, man. I mean, we were doing it. We even had like the Nerf basketball hoop on the door. Got a classic.
Yeah, that's like some dorm room games.
Dude, we had some 5-on-5 shit going on once, and someone went through the wall. So my dad
drywall.
Much better man than I am, because I think I would have kicked everyone out of the house. I mean, he was pissed, but just
my school fined me for sending a kid through the wall playing dorm room basketball.
Yeah, what was that fine?
$800.
$800. What a fucking joke.
Private school too. They don't need the money.
Well, Juwan Howard, what did he get fined for that slap? All right, it was basically the equivalent of $800 to him.
It was a slap on the wrist.
He made $100 million. He got a $100 million contract from the Washington Bullets back in the day. Let's talk about Juwan. What do you make of Juwan Howard as he enters year 4? What is the common Michigan fan say? Are we happy with that Juwan Howard's their coach or not? I mean, he's 61-32 in 3 years. What do you make of it?
Dude, Juwan Howard has proven almost everything he has needed to me at least. I think the past 2 years, I mean, a story that is not talked about at all. Come NCAA tournament time, we have entered the tournament without our most important player on our roster. And Howard coached this team to the second weekend in both of the last 2 tournaments. In 2021, we didn't have Isaiah Livers, and we went to the Elite 8. And yes, Hunter Dickinson, he was the best player on the roster last year, but not having your starting point guard in Devante Jones due to COVID or a concussion, whatever it was, and going to the Sweet 16, that was incredible. Thank you, Mr. Rick Barnes. I was at the forefront of calling that upset.
That's true. Fade Rick Barnes. Been a shit, long before the college basketball experience. That's been a motto we've lived by. Yeah. He was coaching at Clemson. Folks, remember, we are on YouTube. Subscribe to the College Basketball Experience wherever you listen to podcasts, and we're on YouTube as the College Basketball Experience, the College Experience, youtube.com/the College Experience. And remember, when the season tips on November 6th, every single night of the season, you will hear my stinking voice. Because we've been doing this for years, and we handicap every single D1 basketball game, every single night of the season. We've been over 500 every single year. Me picking every game, folks. Lock's been way over 500, but we're not. Yes, we are on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. We love to gamble, but we also we're diehard college basketball fans long before we ever placed our first bet. So it's a mixture of both. If you're just trying to get into college basketball, come check it out. Looking back at this team from a season ago, what do you think? Like, okay, obviously I know injuries were a thing, but what do you think like the glaring weaknesses of this team were from a season ago?
Oh, the glaring weaknesses were they couldn't make shots on the outside. We just relied on Hunter Dickinson too much. Last year, super, super high and borderline irrational expectations, in my opinion, were placed on this program in the preseason. Caleb Houstan didn't live up to the hype. The 5-star that was brought in to be a consistent shooter, he just didn't provide that. And in my opinion, in respect to Caleb, I think it's a little bit of an addition by subtraction. Moussa Diabate, I fell in love with his style of play throughout the year, but I mean, he just wasn't a stretch 4. And then when you have Hunter Dickinson, Diabate just got overshadowed. Eli Brooks, I think, is the biggest loss here. He was like the ultimate glue guy. It's going to be tough to replace him. Devante Jones wasn't really a difference maker until the second half of the year, but that's when I think you're talking about injuries, even though, I mean, I think he was slowed down by concussion, then he had COVID. This program in February, they had a big COVID outbreak, even spreading to staff members. I mean, this team has heart because, I think back to the Illinois game where Dickinson was out with COVID and dudes who had never played were picking up important minutes.
I remember that.
We saw the heart of this team when Jace Howard was out there just causing turnovers on Kofi Coburn. It was amazing.
Yeah, you look back at last year's team, obviously good run. Eli Brooks gone, Devante Jones gone, Houstan, the 5-star, Diabate, all gone. So I think that's a lot of production to lose, but at the same time, you got great news when you find out Hunter Dickinson's returning, the 7'1", center. I mean, he's almost not like a center in many ways, but he's a beast. Averaged about 19 points a game and 9 boards just about. You look elsewhere, they did hit the portal. You saw them do it last year with Jones. They go to Princeton and get Jaelin Llewellyn, who I think might be a sneaky good get. 5th-year senior, averaged just about 16 points a game in the Ivy League, 4 boards and 2.5 assists. I think that might be a sneaky good get. They also go out and get Joey Baker, from the Duke Blue Devils. Talk to me about the portal. What do you think? How do you think this roster? So they return. I mean, this is a team that doesn't return much. Jace Howard, just mentioned, Isaiah Barnes. Other than that, Kobe Buffkin. But I mean, there's not a lot of production. Terrence Williams. Talk to me about the portal and the returning players as far as like, what do you make of the portal, and also of what do you have returning other than Dickinson?
Well, what's returning isn't much. Like you mentioned, Kobe Buffkin did fill out his frame. I have the leisure of watching a preseason game with Michigan. Like a lot of these team previews, we didn't see preseason games prior to talking about him. Buffkin filled himself out. He was a skinny little freshman last year. He looked pretty good. He dropped 21, and he was 3 for 5 on threes. Like I mentioned, outside shooting was a huge issue with this team last year. And then Terrence Williams really came on later in the year. He's going to be a really good 3 or 4, wherever you want to put him. Because, we're going to get to it a little bit later. Jett Howard comes in and he's going to start for us. I have high hopes for Jaelin Llewellyn, kind of like you. Going to the Ivy League, we've gotten another prominent scorer. It worked really well for us 2 years ago with Mike Smith coming from Columbia. These smart guys from the Ivy, they buy into the system more than we found out. Jay Lou, he averaged 15 points in the Ivy League last year, 4 boards, 3 assists. We're hoping that this guy can step right in and just be a distributor of the basketball to Hunter Dickinson and Jett Howard. Also in the portal, Joey Baker, outside shooter by nature. Like that is what he did at Duke, came off the bench, hit a few shots. That's exactly the role that we plan to have him in this year for Michigan as well.
Yeah, I thought that might have been an underrated get as well. And then when you add in the freshmen, I know you mentioned Jett Howard. They also have Terrace Reed, Doug McDaniel, just a slew of freshmen there. Yusuf Kayat, is it? Okay, yeah. Lebanese, I believe, right? If I had to guess, I know he was a big time recruit, and it's. I wonder how much burn do you think the freshman will get? Obviously, Howard will get a lot of burn.
Yeah,
will we be seeing Kayat or?
I think so.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's. I don't know if he's going to start, but. My sleeper is Yusuf Kayat. I mean, when he committed, I don't know if you saw it on the video, but he goes, "Go Blues." I'm sure being on campus, he knows how to say "Go Blue" now. But I mean, this international wing player.
Maybe he's a St. Louis Blues fan.
Yeah, there you go. The international wing player. He's got Michigan fans excited because he reminds us of the Wagners. We've been blessed with Mo and Frost lately. This kid looks exactly like him.
There we go. So if I had to guess,
Jett, though, do you want me to talk about Jett a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, he's only a 4-star. I know recruiting rankings are bullshit, but I mean, he went to the summer camp with all these NBA players. He was the MVP. Like they named him MVP there. So 4-star, beating out a bunch of 5-stars for this MVP. Multiple people, like journalists that were there, said he was the best player on the floor of the whole camp. He's a lengthy guy that could play the 4 or on the wing because he's just got an incredible shooting game. You mentioned Terrace Reed as well, ranked 35th in the top 100 recruits. He's not projected to get a ton of playing times being behind Dickinson, but Doug McDaniel, he's a bulldog point guard, small, but he has heart. Fun fact, he played on the same high school team as Trevor Keels and Jeremy Roach, NC Knicks boys. So, I mean, when they left, Doug in his senior year won his conference's player of the year in both football and basketball. So he's going to compete. I like that kid a lot. He's going to compete with Jaelin for some minutes. And just some stats. They played Ferris State, and there was no Michigan State almost losing to D2 Grand Valley State in state school here. They ran Ferris State out of here. Jett Howard put up 30 points, and he had made 6 threes. I mean, that is what this team needs. Outside shooting to give some help to Dickinson down low. I mean, this kid really has me excited for Michigan.
You're talking me in, but you are a Michigan fan. So part of me is like, he's talking me into really buying into this team. But
2021, we were not highly looked upon. We run the table. So that's all I'm saying.
Okay. And it's an open Big Ten. Yeah. I want to project what I think the starting 5 will be. But before I do that, I want to tell folks out there that the College Basketball Experience Michigan Wolverines 2022-23 season preview on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WynnBET. WynnBET's now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. And from boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBET is what you need to win. Sign up today. Bet $100. Get $100 free bet over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. All right, we are back talking Wolverine hoops. I can't wait. I remember the days of Tractor Trailer. You know what I mean? Mo Taylor, Jamal Crawford.
My days are more Stuart Douglas and Trey Burke. Those are my days.
Hey, that works. All right. Looking, if I had to guess the starting 5, and you saw this game against Ferris Wheel State or whatever the fuck it is.
I love it. You know who Ferris State is. You're preaching them in D2 football.
I know. They're nasty in D2 football, folks. Look, subscribe to the College Football Experience. We talk college football year-round over there. We talk college basketball year-round over there. And I have an FCS show, and I want to do a D2 show. So shout out to Ferris State. Projecting the starting 5, Llewellyn's going to be the one.
Yeah.
I feel pretty concrete that that's going to be the one there. The 2, I'm making the assumption it's going to be Kobe Buffkin at the 2, correct?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think Kobe should step up into that role.
And I think the 3 will be Jett Howard.
For sure. I'm really high on this kid.
4, Terrence Williams.
You got it.
500 Dickinson. I should be involved with the fucking space program because I'm a genius. If this is right, if this is who they wheel out on that hardwood on November 7th, perhaps no. I mean, I think it's pretty easy with this team. A lot of these teams that can actually be hard because there's like 7 million transfers. Let's take a look at the schedule here. Let's just try to forecast. I know you're a homer. So I know you're going to have them winning the national championship.
No, I don't.
Okay, there we go. Well, they better watch out, actually.
Actually,
watch out on Monday, November 7th, because I know you see Purdue's on the schedule. No, not Matt Painter's Purdue. This is a much more dangerous Purdue. I'm joking, Matt Painter, but this is on Big Ten Network. Purdue, or IPFW. Sounds like a fucking airport, but I mean, they were 21-12 a season ago, and they bring back some nice pieces. John Kaufman's doing a good job there. So hey, watch out if you're bringing in a lot of new pieces. Chemistry's not there. Hey, I got you guys winning this one.
It happened last year. We had a scare against Buffalo and somebody else early in the season as well.
That Buffalo game.
Yeah.
You got to want to know, right?
Yeah, I have them winning that game. Actually, the game that I thought you were saying watch out for was, Eastern with, the storyline for all the little guys out there. Imani Bates went to EMU, and he was in contact with
former
Juwan.
By the way.
And he was in contact with Juwan Howard throughout the summer. I think that's a revenge game for Imani Bates there.
And I don't think this game is. This is in Detroit, whatever they call that stadium. They used to have the Joe Louis Arena somewhere there. I don't know what the fuck it's called now.
Little Caesars Arena.
Yeah, Little Caesars Meep, or what do they say? Something like that.
Pizza.
Yeah, there you go. Then I got them 2-0 though. I'm not buying into this EMU action nonsense. I got them 2-0. I actually believe if they're going to lose one, it'd be IPFW and not EMU, that is. So the Legends Classic, though, then happens on November 16th. In Brooklyn, New York, the Pitt Panthers, who they're going to be a mess. I'm surprised. I'm surprised they bring Jeff Capel back.
I know.
Dior Johnson, their point guard, he punched a cop. That's just not the smartest thing to do.
No.
I don't know the scenario, so I will give him a little bit of a pass. And he, hasn't been. I mean, he's got a felony charge pending.
Yeah.
But maybe he can get out of that thing. But I can tell you this: I am not taking Pitt with a 10-foot pole. Pitt opens up with UT Martin. I think UT Martin might beat them. So 3-0. You?
Yeah, Pittsburgh, the city where I went to college. Dude, I chose to go to Duquesne games over that poverty ACC school.
Yes. I mean, so 3-0. Now they will play the winner of Arizona State and VCU, which I think will be very interesting because Arizona State is Bobby Hurley is in many ways there's parallels with him and Jeff Capel. He hasn't been able to get the thing going. They've been talented. They've been super talented. You saw it when Remy Martin ends up at Kansas winning a national championship or some other players transfer out. He's got a talented roster. I look at that roster and I say, they're pretty good. I think they're very well capable of beating Michigan, but I also think I can never count on Arizona State. So I would lean Michigan if they played them. If they play VCU, that's when I would love them to see because VCU is always like oozing with athleticism. Ace Baldwin is there still. That is one that would be very tricky. They're not a finesse team. They're kind of like they're going to make you earn it, lock you down defensively. Dickinson probably going to have a huge game, though, because I don't know they have a match for him. But I could see them losing to either of these teams. I really could. I mean, I feel like I would favor them against Arizona State and favor them against VCU. But I do think if I had to pick a team that would get them, I think it would be VCU.
Hunter Dickinson, you mentioned him. He's a big grudge guy. And the Wolverines, let me tell you, they are absolutely steamrolling through this tournament because feed me VCU. I want VCU too. Zeb Jackson and Brandon Johns, where do they run away to? Oh, yeah, the Rams.
That's right.
VCU.
That's right.
No, we're going to beat them in the championship. Or how about Bobby Hurley and Arizona State? I want them too because Frankie Collins skipped town to go over to the Sun Devils. Right. Hunter Dickinson and crew, grudge guys. I mean,
that makes running through this game even more. So you got them 4-0. I'll join you 4-0. 4-0. Then they get the Ohio Bobcats. Don't look now, but the Ohio Bobcats, they're not a bad team. They were 25-10 a season ago. Jeff Bowles, guy does a great job there. They did lose some key pieces though in the portal.
Yeah.
So I will say I'm going to say they stay undefeated. I'm going to say they stay undefeated. To me right now, if I had to forecast the one loss, I think if you told me they're definitely going to have one loss by this point in the season, I think I would go VCU.
I think I would go probably Arizona State over VCU.
Okay.
I'm a big MAC guy, big Horizon guy. I love Oakland and all these Michigan schools in my backyard. Ohio, I think they lost a little bit too much. I like Toledo's squad a lot there in the MAC this year. So I think we have Ohio beat.
Carter, Vanderplas, the other kid is at Bama.
Imagine Virginia. They get beat by Vanderplas in the tournament, and they go, "Hey, come here. We want you."
Yeah, I thought that was when I saw him go to UVA. I was like, "That's just so perfect." It was like the system because he stretches the floor. That dude can hit threes, and you're gonna see him one way or another because right after the November 23rd game against Jackson State, shout out to what Deion Sanders is doing there. That will be an easy win. So basically, wow, I got you 6-0 to start the season. And then in Ann Arbor, the ACC Big Ten Challenge, Virginia against Michigan. I lean Michigan because it's in Ann Arbor. If this was in Charlottesville, I'd be taking Virginia. If this was in a neutral place, I'd be taking Virginia. This is tricky, though, because I think Bennett will have a game plan to limit Dickinson.
Yeah, I think this is just the first true test for a fresh Michigan team as they play a Virginia team that returns like everybody from last year. Tony Bennett and that defense is really going to challenge anybody but Hunter Dickinson to beat them. The key to this game is quality outside shots, like not only making them, but like getting good shots off because this team will force contested shots. Last year, the weakness of this team, like I mentioned, was just making shots, outside shots. So this game is when somebody else needs to step up because it's so early in the season. I'm going to give this game to the Wahoos. We'll get you in the tourney patty seat.
I also feel like you would take an L here.
Yeah.
One of these teams would get them though.
This is the loss.
Like I'm going to say by this point, heading into December, you will have one loss. It might be Virginia, it might be VCU, it might be Arizona State, but I got one loss happening in the month of November.
Me too.
In December, you head to London, England. Grab your cup of tea and fish and chips. I don't know.
Malcolm, where are we at?
Shout out to Malcolm. Why the hell is this game being played? This is like just play this in Lexington or in Ann Arbor, and we're very happy. I mean, it's still better played anywhere than not played, but come on. ABC,
Cal doesn't want to go on the road. Come on.
Yeah, he sucks, man, with that. I mean, he's a good coach and a great recruiter, but I can't stand the fact he won't go play on these home campuses. I'm taking Kentucky, though, because Oscar Tshiebwe is, like, the best player in the nation.
Is he going to be healthy, though? Like, that's the biggest question.
I keep hearing that.
I mean, I'm not nervous about playing Kentucky. I'm more nervous for Kentucky because, I mean, like, he says he's feeling pain when he's running. Calipari said to the media that his knee swells up after exercise. And, I mean, Cal in front of the media, he's all, like, I mean, just pivotal role in Kentucky media. That's all they have to report on over there. He's asking for like pressure to be taken off of the guys. I'm wondering why that is. I mean, like, this is an experienced group that should live up to the pressure. I have Kentucky beating us.
Fucking talk.
Yeah, I have Kentucky.
We're in this day and age where everything's overkill. It's like how many times can you ask me about the same thing? You know what I mean? And I just think you're just like, oh, you gotta, just. I got who you got winning this one?
I have Kentucky beating us. I'm just, if Tshiebwe's not there, Dickinson's going to be able to eat. That's what I'm gonna say. It sounds like Tshiebwe's missing games. He's not going to play that first.
I mean, this is a month into the season, though, right?
It's a knee, though. Like, that's a big dude.
It's true. I'm taking Kentucky. I'm sorry, Michigan fans. All right, I was on, I was on you guys, and I'm a Harbaugh guy. You know what I mean? So, December 8th, Michigan heads to the barn to take on Minnesota Golden Gophers and Ben Johnson's squad. This should be a dub. Minnesota's weird though. I feel like they were better in year one than I thought they would have been. If that makes sense. Like, they were not a good team, but they were more competitive than I thought they would be in year one, which
Michigan beat them with not a great Michigan team earlier in the year, like 100-55, if I remember correctly. I'm going to pull that up. We blew them out early in the year last year.
In Ann Arbor or in Minneapolis?
I think it was in Minneapolis, if memory serves me correct.
Well, I'm taking Michigan anyway, but that only helps my argument. That game's on Big Ten Network on Thursday, December 8th. I suppose you got them winning that one as well?
Yeah, I have them beating Minnesota there.
All right, then they host Lipscomb. One of the greatest names for a university. Lipscomb in Ann Arbor, Saturday, December 17th. That should be a dub. So just 2 losses so far. Then you got the Jumpman Invitational. Get ready to jump. The Tar Heels are playing. This game's in Charlotte, man. You're gonna have this is a away game pretty much. I'm taking Carolina. Sorry.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I think it's a really cool event. I mean, not really a neutral site game there, as it's in Michael Jordan's hometown of Charlotte. So it's going to be pro North Carolina crowd, but this is kind of going to be Michigan's Champions Classic for the next few years, and I cannot wait for a Michigan-Florida matchup. I've got a Trask jersey hanging up over here.
Nice. There we go. I know that's another one of your teams. Yeah. Yeah, so I got them losing that, and then they get Central Michigan in Ann Arbor on Thursday, December 29th. That's a win. So basically, heading into the new year, I have them with 3 losses. I think you do as well, which would then I guess that would not be disappointing to Michigan fans, correct? That would be kind of run of the mill because you're a Michigan fan, right?
Yeah, I would be happy. I think 5 is where you're just a little bit concerned because that means you either lost to VCU and you dropped the game to PFW or Eastern Michigan.
All right. Well, look, before we get to the 2023 part of the schedule, we're just going to pick up a part or two of that schedule. We're not going to go through every game. I want to tell folks out there that we're on YouTube, the College Basketball Experience, youtube.com/the College Experience. Like I said, every single night of the season we'll be here talking best games, talking best bets, talking best, everything, best rivalry games, best matchups. So check us out. We're on there, but we're part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Sports Gambling Podcast started it all for us back in 2011. They are on YouTube as well, so check them out. And if you do, they're giving you a chance to win a free to enter, chance to win an autographed Lawrence Taylor New York Giants or Brian Dawkins Philadelphia Eagles jersey. It's free to enter, folks. What do you get to lose? I know it might not be your team. Maybe you're rooting for the Lions, but fuck it. Might as well get that Lawrence Taylor jersey. Might come with some cocaine on it or something. Subscribe to youtube.com/sports gambling podcast. That's all you have to do. Subscribe, then comment on a video, and each video is a new chance to win. Turn on your notifications so you don't miss it when SGP contacts you when they pull out the winner, and the winner will be announced this upcoming Sunday, which will be November 6th, the night of the 6th. So get in there, let it ride. Let's go. All right, looking at the remainder of the schedule, I'm trying to have us pick out a 3-game stretch. And I'm very curious what you think the toughest 3-game stretch is for the Wolverines, where they're going to go through some adversity and they'll need to grab some key wins there. Is there a 3-game stretch where you say, oh, man, I hope we can go 2-1 here. Maybe if we go 3-0, we'll be a 2 seed, a 3 seed, something. Which one catches your eye the most, the hardest 3-game stretch?
I'm actually kind of pissed off with how the schedule kind of got churned out. We finished the season. This is my 3-game stretch. We finished the season on senior day with Wisconsin. Now all the headlines are going to read, hey, Juwan Howard slapped Greg Gard last year. That's going to be the rematch of that game because, this is our home game against them. But this is the look-ahead spot because the new rivalry with Illinois. And then after Illinois, it's a back-to-back road, and you go to Indiana. So, the new rivalry with Illinois, I don't know if a lot of non-Michigan fans know about this. All of the regular season title BS from 2021, when Michigan and Illinois didn't play each other twice that year. Yeah. Michigan won the regular season. Illinois won the Big Ten tournament. Illinois claims that they won the regular season too because there's technically a tie. I love it. They then sweep Michigan in 2021. And we played one of those games without Dickinson, like I mentioned earlier in the podcast. This is where you get your popcorn out, folks, because it's the recruiting trail. And, with all the transfer portal nonsense, this offseason, Terrence Shannon Jr. wants to transfer out of Texas Tech. So throughout April, Hunter Dickinson, he was recruiting Shannon hard out of Texas Tech. I heard they were even rumored to go out to dinner, Dickinson, Jace Howard, and Terrence Shannon. Shannon's former AAU coach, I believe it was, then tweets out he commits to Michigan. We're all going crazy. We got Terrence Shooter. We have a shooter on the outside, Terrence Shannon Jr. Yeah. Then all of a sudden he didn't commit to Michigan. Literally a week later, he commits to Illinois. Hunter Dickinson took to Twitter and absolutely dragged the Red Raiders head coach Mark Adams for not allowing Shannon to transfer. Then there's rumors of Shannon not having enough credit hours to transfer to Michigan. Anyways, now you have time passing from school year. It was May to Big Ten Media Day. Now, Jace Howard and Hunter Dickinson are the representatives for the Wolverines players. And a journalist asked them if there was one player that you could play with in the Big Ten that's not on the Michigan roster this year, who would it be? And Dickinson and Jace both answered instantly, Terrence Shannon Jr. This game it against Illinois is in the State Farm Center, but trust me, Dickinson's a grudge guy. Dick's dropping it on the table. He's putting up a 25-point double-double. Michigan's winning this game. We lose Wisconsin, we lose Indiana, but as long as we beat Illinois, I think a lot of people are going to be happy.
And the Vegas odds-on winner to win the Big Ten is Indiana. That will be interesting to see how that shakes out. I think it's a very open conference, a lot of value in a lot of these teams. So my toughest stretch I saw that stretch and I agree that that's right there. I just thought the February 11th home to Indiana, then February 14th at Wisconsin, knowing what happened there a season ago, and then your home game against Tom Izzo in Ann Arbor on Fox on February 18th. Those three, but they could all be argued. So
yeah, I mean it's the Big Ten. You got tough games every week. So
yeah. So let's get to it. Speaking of Big Ten, where do you have? I'm very curious. So look at these. Let me pull up the odds right here. But I'm curious where do you think like they can win the Big Ten regular season this year?
I think it's sort of wide open because you have Indiana kind of enacting the UCLA team from 2021 where they bring back everybody. Well, I mean, yes, but I still am not like fully believing in Indiana. And then I just don't think there's a runaway team in the Big Ten. I'm not going to be a homer. I think Illinois wins the Big Ten, actually. I think it goes Illinois, Michigan, and then Indiana's probably right there in the mix as well. It's really hard to pick a winner. I have Michigan coming in the top three, though. I think
the odds. So Indiana's plus 320, Michigan's plus 425, Illinois is plus 550, Iowa's plus 600, Purdue's plus 700, Michigan State's plus 750, Ohio State's plus 1100, which I think you maybe should consider. Wisconsin's plus 1,800, and then even Maryland at plus 4,000. I'll put it like this: I struggle with this conference. We've previewed a bunch of these conferences. Go check them out. I struggle with this conference the most, I think, because every team has glaring holes.
Yeah,
and they're all similar to me. I went out on a limb the last episode. And I said, you know what? Give me Wisconsin to win the Big Ten.
Really? 2 years in a row.
I just think they play better when they're not expected to be good. I have no idea, but I'll be honest. Like when we hung up the phone, me and Ryan McIntyre, and we hung up the call on this, and we're like, I don't know, man. He took Purdue. No, I think he took no. Actually, that's what it was. I took Purdue. He took Indiana, right? He went chalk with Indiana, and I'm sorry, I didn't take Wisconsin. I took Purdue, and I just said, well, Painter normally, you know, I would never take Purdue in the NCAA tournament. Like I've lost too much money on that.
They lost to St. Peter's.
Yeah,
the Kentucky lost to St. Peter's. Purdue lost to them.
Even
too.
The Carson Edwards thing, you had like a 10-point lead with like a minute left, and found a way to lose to Virginia. But I look at that team, and I don't think it's super talented. But those are the teams that, to me, Painter gets up. So I think I went Purdue 1, Indiana 2. He did Indiana 1, and I think he had, if memory serves me correct, I think he has the Illini 2. So
okay.
I mean, but I honestly think if you're an Ohio State fan, if you're a Michigan fan, like why would you not place a bet on your team? Because like when I look at these rosters, when I look at all these rosters, I don't see like a gigantic gap from like Indiana. So Indiana, Michigan, Illinois, Iowa, Purdue, Michigan State, Ohio State, Wisconsin. I even think you might even be able to throw Maryland in that mix. All of those teams, there's not a gigantic gap. No. It's going to come down to some great games. And I think if you're a fan of these teams, you know, I would bet the hell out of it. If you're telling me I'm a fan of Iowa or Michigan or whatever, I would definitely go out there. Michigan plus 425. That's good odds.
It's a nice price.
I do have Michigan finishing third. I had them finishing third in the Big Ten. But let me ask you this. What's the ceiling in the NCAA tournament?
I mean, he's gotten to the Elite Eight or Sweet 16 with less, in my opinion. So I think the ceiling is the Elite Eight.
I agree. That's what I was going to say, which I would take further than Purdue, by the way, folks. The ceiling for Purdue is like the round.
So, I mean, fun fact, Big Ten, they've had 9 teams in the last 2 NCAA tournaments. They blow in the NCAA tournament. The Big Ten just does not live up to expectations. The one team that has is Michigan.
There you go.
Throw that out there.
There
Juwan
you go.
Howard.
There you go. All right, folks. Well, I cannot wait for the season to start. I think IPFW could be a little chippier than people think. Subscribe to the College Basketball Experience, and also remember to give us a follow on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Noah Bieniek is on Twitter at 77NB. If you're watching on YouTube, you will see it right there. I'm on Twitter at DColby. Give me a follow. Cannot wait for the season to start. I know he's repping the Michigan shirt, and yeah,
the scissor shot from Jordan Poole.
Oh man, that was classic. So anyway, hop on in and check us out, and if you can, also subscribe to the Sports Gambling Podcast. Subscribe to the MLB Gambling Podcast. Noah does great work there too, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the season. I think this is going to be a great year. Come talk Michigan football and basketball with us. I was one of my strongest plays is Michigan on the over in football.
Michigan State on the under. Love that one.
Yeah, all these Michigan State fans gave me shit all off season. How's that looking now, huh? How's that looking?
Love it.
Coming? No.
Where's he at? He's not here.
All right, folks. Well, this is the College Basketball Experience, Michigan Wolverine style. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.
Yeah, it's got me thinking about the good shit. The minute that I seen your grill again, it made me good trip. Good dog to mine back like dog will wind that. Man, I didn't get mad when you hit me can back, but the comings on was strong. Now my shit's coming along, you know the song. The truth is I'm pretty much on fire again. It's heating up for real, I'm alive again. And that's the attraction factor. Vancouver, Michigan with my rap disaster. Yeah, you know you want it how you want it. No need to trip cause I got it, doggone it. It's all yours and the extras too. All the super music and the sex for hope. Just get it straight cause it caught me in a good mood. Let me demonstrate what this time of year could do. Yeah, sing it.